Hello and welcome to your daily reading for 15th of October 2018, which is Monday, which is today, and I'm sorry for posting this so late. I apologize, but I just couldn't do it on the weekend, so that's why I'm doing it only now. Let's focus, let's see what are the messages and energies from the universe, source of everything and pure light, for our highest good, for the highest good of all people watching this. People and perhaps other beings, other creatures. I'm going to shuffle one more, and then I'm going to choose cards anyway. And I'm using the beautiful Zillich Tarot. So, for today, what are the energies for today? Here's the first one. Second and the third card for today is here. Right. We have peace at the bottom of the deck, which is Two of Swords. Very peaceful card, a card of equilibrium. And just to tune in, the moon is in Capricorn today, so some sounds from beautiful earth bell. And the moon is moving towards first quarter, so the energies may tend to become more polarized. Let's look. The first card, we have Knight of Cups. Then we have Ace of Swords. And Eight of Cups again. We had this card recently. Let's look at this. I think this spread is a perfect example of how you can read the tarot forwards and backwards, and it can really describe how your attitude changes everything. We have this Ace of Swords in the middle, and I think it's a crucial card in this reading. It speaks about, of course, clarity and truth. This is something that brings real clarity into your life, and it gives you all the power of the element of air, which is clear vision, communication, thinking, building structures in mind, and having generally a strong mind. This card also represents the victory of good over bad, of clarity over obscurity. You can see a wreath around this person and around the sword. So whatever you do here, it may bring you victory. It's bound to bring you victory. You can do it. And now, depending which way would you choose, which way will you go? You can go from here to there, or from there to here. Let's first read it in this way, okay? So we have Knight of Cups, which is the fiery element of water. It's described as the sun over the sea. Sun shining, sun perhaps setting. When I see this traveler, I see him really elevated over the waters. He sees the goal somewhat back there, but also in the future. He's moving into to the right, which represents the future for me. So he has a clear vision, definitely connected with his heart energy, because we have green color here, which is the heart chakra. There's also purple and blue, which is about spirituality and vision. So this elevated person is pursuing his new goal with this absolute feeling in the heart that whatever he's doing right. He's doing right, and he has the sword of truth that is also promising clarity and victory. But when I see it this way, with Eight of Cups after the Ace of Swords, Ace of Swords can also be, how do you say it in English? The sword with two blades. I mean, every sword has two blades, on the right and the left. And you can easily cut yourself with this truth. You can easily cut yourself with this clarity of what is wrong and what is right, and with a division between the light and the darkness. And when you look at things in a very in a specific way, you can see yourself being on the side of darkness. And when you see it like that, it doesn't mean it is like that, because reality is something quite different from the perception of it. And the interpretation is yet another thing. But when you see it like this, you can easily come to the conclusion that whatever you were pursuing wasn't worth it. We have Eight of Cups, which is called indolence in this deck. You can see fish striving for air, striving to survive, barely doing it. There is mud in this card, withered plants, and generally life floating off in the air. So it's definitely a position you don't want to find yourself in. And when you come to the conclusion that whatever you were pursuing brought you to this position, you will feel crappy, let's be honest. But there's great severity, or severity, I think, severity behind this kind of thinking. Oh, I'm indolent. Oh, I always choose badly. Whatever I touch, it turns into mud. And talking things like this to yourself is very, very harmful. The main truth I discovered, and maybe trivial, and I think it is for many of us, of you, but it's really refreshing when you look at it with an innocent eye, is that we don't know what's good for us. We tend to judge things before they unfold fully. And we often see things as bad for us, whilst they are a blessing in disguise. But we just don't recognize it because we don't have faith that everything happens for our greatest good. And we may not see it yet, but we tend to think that we know. We tend to think that we see everything, and we interpret this in a harmful way for ourselves. So this is how I can read it in this way, forwards. But when I read it backwards, it absolutely changes the meaning of this. And this is the interpretation I prefer. And this is what we generally can do. We can see things, stories, experiences in our life, and read it this way or the other way. Which way will you choose depends only on you, and whether you are aware that you can choose the interpretation that is supportive for you. that is enhancing the light in you, the love in you, that is efficient for you. It's for you to choose which way you want to read it. When I read it this way, we start from the point we don't want to be in, 8 of Cups, indolence. And it happens sometimes that we are in this state, right? We are in the swamp, right? We find ourselves, oh, where am I? How did this happen? And when we see it, when we realize it, that's the truth of our condition right now, then we have all the powers of air, as I said, of this element, to leave it behind, to say, okay, I don't want it anymore. I want to cut myself off from this. All right? And I can do it, and I'm going to be victorious because I know the power of my mind. And I know that the universe is wishing me all well. And I'm on the path to my greatest good. And I know that sometimes it leads through a swamp. And that's all. I don't need to judge myself in this moment. How could this happen? How could you be, people are saying to themselves in the mind, how could you be so stupid? How could I be so stupid to be there, to enter this place, to find myself in this place? How could I not see that this was a trap or this was a mistake or things like that? Well, you couldn't. Because you only live once. And it's the first time. Even if you believe in reincarnation, still you don't remember. You don't remember your experiences. So you're an absolute beginner in this. And you have the right to be wrong, to be mistaken. Can I say this? To make mistakes. You have the right to make mistakes, absolutely. And you don't need to judge yourself, and you don't need to blame yourself for this. Just move on. That's a part of experience. That's a tough part of the game. But then you can choose to find another direction, another goal, something that moves your heart, something that puts fire into your heart, something that makes you warm. The beautiful sunset over the sea that you can follow. You can follow the sun, you can follow the happiness, you can follow the light. You are the traveler. And it's your life to discover all the sunsets, all the fires, all the new ideas. And when you see it this way, you can just leave the swamp behind and see the sun and see the sunset. I hope you understand what I mean, that the choice of interpretation is something that really creates the quality of your life, whether you end up here or here. And I find it's very significant that at the bottom of the deck we have Two of Swords, because Two of Swords in its simplest version are two swords. Two swords, which means two thoughts, two ways of thinking. And you can think this way, but you can choose to think this way. And it's up to you. Whatever you choose, it's up to you. I want to draw one more card. This is from the Oracle deck. It's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards, and I quite like it. Let's look what's the message here for us. I think it's going to be very simple. It's for one day, so I I don't think I'm gonna read the whole meaning of this. Just the main sentence, the main notion connected with the card. What's the message here? Oh. This card. Shaolin Master. Be graceful in movement and action. I like this mantis on his fist. She really acts gracefully. So there is this notion of balance, I think, overall in this reading. Balance your mind, choose the path that will bring you victory and not distress. Okay? Be on your side today. Be on your side. Defend yourself from destructive thoughts. Choose the bright path. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I hope I see you tomorrow. Bye bye.